different with span and paragraph. It's just that span is a little bit smaller than paragraph. So if I want to view that, this is span. You can see the word text here. If I had more in it, so we don't pretty much have much difference between span and then paragraph. So the next one is going to be table. So yeah, basically we have a lot in table. So if you want to show a tabular form in your web page, we use the table element or the table tag. So for table, you just type table, then you close it. So for table, we have two parts also. We have the heading and the body. Yeah. So for the T head, you can use either TH or T head. It's basically the same thing. Hello world. Then and have T body. Let me save that and let's see how it looks. So we have the hello there, but for the body, since I've not put anything there. So for the body now, we have columns and rows. So we have TR, then we have TD. So all this, you don't have to like memorize them. With time, you get used to everything. Yeah. So we should just know that, okay, for a table now, for me to display a tabular table on the web page, I'm going to need a table tag. Then for the table tag, I have T head and T body. So for the T head, I can just put the title, anything I want as the title. This is a table title. Yeah, you can see the title there. Then for the body, we have TR and TH. So anyhow you want to design your table, you can like put the text inside A, B, C, and D. So this is it. This is how the table looks like. And the next one is going to be list. So we have list also. So we have two types of list. We have the ordered list and unordered list. So when you talk about ordered list, that is going to be OL. Let's say we want to have a list here. So we want to, the first one is going to be ordered list, which is going to be OL. Let me say I want to have one here. So this is an ordered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that sorry, this is not working. Let me quickly check that. I think I'm having a mix up between syntax. Okay. So for the ordered list, we use OL. Yeah. So that's what is going to tell the HTML file that we are trying to create a list which is ordered. So now we have coffee, tea, milk, and let's say the ladies, Malik. So we should have this list in order. So you don't have to like be inputting the 1, 2, 3 yourself. The HTML file is going to know that okay, this is an ordered list, and it's going to create it for you in order. So we have 1, 2, 3. So if you should add more, the number is going to increment. You can see the number is incrementing. Then we also have an order list, which is UL. We can have a list inside. Let's say 1. For an order on order list, it's basically use bullets. Yeah. So but there are sometimes that you don't really want to you don't want these bullets. There is a way you can remove it with CXS. So when you get to CXS, Isiak will discuss that. So there is a way you remove these bullets from the list. So the next one is footer tag. So basically, when we go to any website, let me go to google.com. Yeah, so we see something below the page. It is called footer. Yeah, it basically gives us more information about the page. So if I should click on maybe about or settings or anything, it's going to take me to a page. So basically it tells the page that okay, this is the end of the page, and is basically going to like give you more information about the page. So when you want to, for you to like have a footer tag, you just use the word footer. Then is also you can just put anything. Let's assume I want to have inside the footers, I want to have a list. Let's say ordered lists, and let's say contact us. Say okay, settings, and let's say the home page. So you're going to have that on below the page. Yeah. So it's ordered. That's because I use ordered list. If you don't want to use ordered list, you can use UL, and you can always style it to remove the bullets so that it's going to look something like this. And if you want to arrange it horizontal like this, you do that with CSS. So since we've not gotten to CSS, I'm not going to talk about that. So I think we are done. Okay, so the last one is element attributes. Yeah, I mentioned it yesterday. So element attributes are kind of like attributes that are given to elements. Okay, I've written a lot of elements on this page now. So if I want to like, if I should inspect this page now, I have a lot of divs, a lot of paragraphs. So sometimes I might like want to like target one particular paragraph. Yeah. So how do I have to do that? So the only way I can do that is by knowing the specific elements I want to like target. Yeah. So if for us to do that, we have to like give the elements some attributes, and these attributes are like name, ID, or class. So if I should give this let's say this input a name now. If I should give, let's say, this button a name, let's say name, web, ID can be anything. Last time, and we can also give it a class name of anything. Let's say 0. Yeah. So if I go back to the page, Web2 to the world. If I inspect this now, we can see that. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, it seems today's class seems boring. Are we all fine?
Yeah, we are
Yes, we are
following.
fine.
Okay, okay,
Fine.
okay, okay, okay. So yeah, we can see that this is a button without name, yeah, and this is a button with a name. The name web, the ID class, the ID last time, and the class is 0. So yeah, when we get to JavaScript, you understand more why we need to like give some of these elements a name. So there are sometimes that I want to like, okay, once you click this button, let this our logo change to another logo. So for you to like do that, now you have to target this particular button. Okay, this button now, once this particular person clicks it, so how will the system, how will the browser know that, okay, is this particular button our code is talking about? So we have to use a name or ID or class. And there are sometimes you want to like group them together. Okay, yeah, I have a lot of lists here now from 1 to 11. I probably want to target maybe number 4 only. Yeah, so how do I do that? I give it a name. And there are sometimes I want to like target everything from let's say number 1 to 11. I want to target everything, so I can just like pick them by that common name that they have. If I use one of the common name they have, that is they are all lists, I can just use the list tag to target all of them. But if I want to target individually, I can just use their individual name. And there are also attributes that like make you target a child. Like, okay, now this, if I should inspect this now, this, we can see that this ordered list now is is like a container which has a lot of lists inside. This is about 7. Okay, now this ONI is like a parent. If you can see my screen very well, you see like an orange color at the top, then the lists are inside. So the ONI is like a parent, then the list are the children. Yeah, so there are sometimes that you want to like target the first child or the second one or the third one or the last one. Yeah, so these are like attributes of elements. So we have the name, we have the ID, we have the class. So as we progress, by the time we get to JavaScript, I think CF will also talk about it more on CSS, because with CSS you can do a lot of styling with this. So we'll also be using it in JavaScript. So that's that about attributes. So let me drop so we have ID, we have name, we have class. So that is that about attributes. And I think we've come to the end of elements. So are we all clear with this before we go to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So with time, as you just practice along, they kind of like stick to the brain. Yeah, you don't have to like memorize everything. Anything you need, yeah, element, and you've forgotten the tag, you can always Google. Yeah, one of the things that makes a programmer very good is to know how to Google. I can say HTML elements, and it's going to give me tons of elements, even the ones we didn't like talk about, like the word script. Now we didn't talk about script. Script is an element tag that we use in importing our JavaScript file into HTML file. So when we get there, we'll talk about it. So there are tons of it, tons and tons of it. If you just go to the, what's it called, to Google, you see a lot of it. Yeah. So once you just, let's assume I forget how to do footer tag. I'll just say footer tag HTML. You see, I see thousands of results. You can see. Somebody even gave me a code snippet. So if I should just copy this now, I'm not saying you should start copying code. No, it's too early to copy code. Don't copy code. It's because I know. That's why I'm just saying this. Yeah. So for now, you practice. Try as much as possible to type. Then as you are typing along, it's going to like stick. So if I should just paste this somewhere here and save, it should reflect on the page. Yeah, we can see, right? So once you forget any element tag, you can always go to Google and search for it, so you'll get it. So the next one, what we're going to be talking about today is semantic HTML and forms. Yeah. So basically, what semantic HTML is that now what we've been doing since yesterday and what we did earlier today is we are like putting the HTML tags into the file and displaying it on the what's it called, on the browser. We are not really telling the browser a lot about what we are writing in the code base. Okay, we just wrote p tag, footer tag, and we gave it h1, h2. We put a button there. Yeah, we're not really giving the browser a lot of information, and we are not also giving the next developer, because as you are working, you are not working alone. Yeah, no developer. Okay, sometimes you want to like work on a project solo, like only you, but then there are sometimes that you want to like work with 2 or more people. Yeah, so now you want somebody to come to your code base and be able to like, so that the person will not struggle. The person will just, okay, this is what he did here, this is what he did here. If I should see a footer, like, okay, I come to this code base now, and I see a footer at the top. Yeah, I'll be like, no, he probably forgot this footer here. This footer is not supposed to be, because we know by default footer is supposed to be the last element on the page. So it should be under, like below the page. Yeah. So somewhere here. I know that, okay, that's because I saw the word footer. So if I should remove this footer now, this is what we want to use for the footer. It's still going to show on the page. Yeah. But the person that is coming will not know is a footer. All right. So, but if I see the word footer, not, oh, this is a footer tag, it's supposed to be the last thing on the page. So probably the developer made a mistake, and I can just move it to the right. But that's because I'm using a semantic element to like say, okay, this is supposed to be here, this is supposed to be here. Most websites, when you enter a website, the first thing you see on the top is the header. That's where the header. So inside the header now, you see some people might just display the header only and put what they want to put inside. But most times you see navbar. This is where this nav comes in. That's where you see this HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So it's telling you that, okay, this is a navbar, this is a section, this is an article, it's a side. Like you want to like organize your page very well. Fine, if you don't do it this way, most people don't do it this way. Yeah, we just kind of like put a lot of divs, paragraph, buttons, and we're done. And you style it, your page will look very, very okay. Yeah, but then you want, if another programmer should come in, or the browser itself, to know a lot of things about the HTML element, you can get to like use all this. So we have the likes of headers, navbar, section, aside, article. I will drop this link on the Slack channel. You can always check it out and play around with it. So there's no much things to talk about on the this thing. So basically what the header does is just to place the items that you want to like put inside the header at the top. Then navbar does basically the same thing. Then section, from the word section, helps to just put your paragraph, your text, your button in a particular section. Then aside also, this aside, if you go to a news website, let's say CNN.com, most news websites use this aside a lot, because they are trying to like organize their, what's it called, their websites. You see the way it's arranged. This also can be done with a div, then with a couple of styling. Yeah, but then you want to like tell the browser that, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, and so that the work can look more fancy or more like readable, the code base. Yeah, so it's nothing much. There's nothing much to talk about there. Then article, then footer that we've already discussed. So if you want to like read more about all this, you can just go through it. You can see what we've done before. This is just a section. Put a section tag there, your H1, your P1. Just basically what we've done so far. So if I copy this now, paste it in our code base. You can see there's not much difference in it. Yeah. But then sometimes you just need it to like tell the programmer and browser that, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, and so that your code can be very, very readable. Yeah. So that's that about semantic HTML. So the next one we're going to go to now is forms. Yeah, we all know forms. Like, okay, you want to register on a website and you're given a form to fill. Ask of your name, your phone number, your address, or you go to a bank, you want to open an account and you are given a form to fill. Yeah. So there is one thing that comes with a form. If you are given a form at the bank and you just fill out the form and you kept it somewhere, you didn't give it back to the person that gave it to you, or you left it on the table, or you didn't return it back to the customer care. So that's like you didn't submit the form. So anytime you see a form on a page or anywhere, it has to come with submit. Submit must be attached to a form, because there's no sense. I don't see a reason why you fill a form and you don't want to submit. So that information now will not be sent to where it's supposed to be. Okay, and yesterday I forgot to mention this track is web development. Yeah. So web development asks it's kind of like a team of developers with different specialties. Yeah, you have the likes of UI UX, product manager, the front end, the back end, the DevOps. Yeah. So that is a team. Yeah. So the project manager now probably will have a meeting with everybody and say, okay, we want to design an app that's when you just put in your credit card, you can do this, you can do that. Yeah. Okay. The UI UX guy now, or the person only the UI UX, just go back, design it, probably send it to the front end guy. The front end guy will now do its own part. So everything that we see on a web page, the forms, the tags, and everything is done by the front end. That is basically what we are doing now. So we have another person that is the back end. Yeah. So now when you submit a form, it's going somewhere. Yeah. So now those messages are being handled by the backend. Then we have the DevOps also that do the testing, that make sure that, okay, what I design, or what the backend guy, the code he has written or she has written, it's up to standard, it's not vulnerable to attack. Then I think we have quality controls also, probably under DevOps also. So what I'm trying to say basically is that the front end now, anytime you submit a form, yeah, have you ever asked yourself that, okay, I want to buy a product on Jumia, and I input my credit card and I press, okay, pay now, and I was sent an OTP, I put in the OTP and the money was deducted from my account, and like, okay, in the next couple of days they ship the item. Have you ever asked yourself that, what's happening? How did they even know I have money in that account? I just put a number from my card and they just assume I have money in my account. Yeah, that's because the front end is communicating with the back end. There is a server somewhere. Yeah, that, okay, when you send that when you click that button now, you click as bundled all the inputs, your what's it called, your card number, you put the expiry date, the CVV number that you inputted, bundled everything together and send it to a server somewhere. We call it API request. So now the server now will now run its own check. Okay, this card is coming from where? Okay, it's coming from Access Bank or GT Bank. Okay, yeah, fine. GT Bank. Who is this person? The person name is Malik. Okay, with account number so. Is the money up to the amount that I want to pay? If yes, yeah, they will do the transaction, return an OTP, a response, okay, successful. If no, they will return fail immediately. So that's communication between the front end and the back end. So what I'm saying basically is that wherever you have a form, whenever you have a form, it must come with submit. So you must submit the form somewhere for other things to happen. So now let's go back to our code base. Let's create some forms. So let's do a line break so that we have, yeah. So now if can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So when you want to like design a form or put a form on your page, you use the word form. Yeah, like this. So now most times when you see a form, let me example of HTML form. Let me look for images. Okay, so this. Can we all see this form? The one by the right. So now we have the label, that's the first name, and an input, the last name, date of birth, email ID, mobile number. Then we have submit and reset. Like what I said yesterday, the other time, you can see a button is here. So when you click this button now, it's going to submit the form. So anytime you have a form, you want to submit this form, at least for something, for processing, so anything you like. So let's create something like this now. So we have a form. So I don't know, I think I didn't mention label tag yesterday. So label tag is just like give you more information about a particular input or anything. You might want to like, okay, write a button and say, okay, what's the name of this button? Yeah, just give it a name or an input or anything. So let's have a container for this. Let's say we have a div. So inside this div we have a label, first name, then we have an input. So now input is self-closing tag. What do we want? We want the type text, because it's text that I want to put inside. So let's see how this looks like. Let me push it up a bit. dr. Okay, yeah. So you can see the first name. So if I input my name here now, Malik, yeah, there's no button. So what will happen to Malik? Nothing. It's just there. So that's why I said earlier, you have to have a button somewhere that when you click this, it will just. So sometimes the button might not come with the form, yeah, but that will just be later. But for now, just assume that for every form, a button will have to come with it, because I can have like 4 or 5 form on a page, and I'll just put the button somewhere at the bottom. Yeah, but for now, let's just assume the button will have to come with the form, so that we can just for explanation. So now I have this now. Okay, I can just copy the whole of this. Don't copy, type, so that you get familiar with it. The reason why I'm copying is because I already know how it works. So if I have first name, let's say last name. Yeah, if I should save, I have last name. So this is two squashed together. You can just put a line break here. Going to break it off, or you can just, okay, let's put a horizontal line so that it's going to look more fanciful. So we have a line. So let's comment this out. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, so this look beautiful. So the next one I want to put, let's say want to put address. So I can do this horizontal line and say, okay, address. See how it looks. Then we can say what else again. Let me say card detail. And so card number. Yeah, so you can see how it goes. So now, so no matter how big your form is, how long it is, you can always put whatever you want in it. So let me now say the last part. We want to have a button here now. And say submit. And another button. Let me put a break here. Have another button again. That says reset form. So you can see the way it looks. Yeah. So that's that about form. So we have other inputs also. Let me okay, let me put, let's try another type of input. So this is card number. Let's do okay, age, and we'll put type number that the person can input age. So for age, we're going to have number. You can put number here. And let's do okay. Let's say okay, font type. Want to do checkbox. So you want to check, okay, let's do have an iPhone to do this. If you have Android, let's do this. So now, so if I have an iPhone, I check this. If I have Android, I check this. And there, you see the two checkboxes are checkable. There are a way we can do it in JavaScript. Very, very easy in React also. We'll talk about that probably towards the end of the program. That in such a way that I can check these two checkboxes at the same time. Yeah. But for now, let's just leave it this way. So I have an iPhone, I check this. I have an Android phone, I check this. Yeah. So there are a lot of what's it called, input type that you can use. So you can just, if you want to know more about input type HTML. So date. Okay, let's use date also. Let's put date somewhere. Let's say maybe today's dates for registration. We can put type date, and you can select dates. Okay, this is the day I registered. Then you click submit. If you notice, something happened now. When I click submit, we'll notice what happened. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, it was not responsive.
Okay, yeah. So when I click submit, if I click, you see the page went back to the top. Yeah. So something is like something is trying to like happen behind the hood. So that's what forms does. Sometimes when you come to the page, it wants to like submit itself automatically, but there's a way in JavaScript that we can write it that is called prevent default. So once you put that prevent default, it's not going to like submit itself. Yeah. So that's that about form. So you can just play around with it, design anything you want to put in a form. That okay, example of if let's say registration example. Yeah, you can see the way this form look like. So you can just design it any way you want it, whatever you want. You want to put country, you want to put state. Yeah, so with the HTML tags, you'll be able to achieve everything. So that's all about forms. And I think we are done with form. So that will be the end of HTML. Yeah. So I will drop a link later on the Slack channel for review how far the class is and all. But so now time for question. If you have any question from yesterday class, today's class, problem installing the, what's it called, the VS Code and anything, just bring it on. And if you want me to go back again, like go some steps backward, just unmute your mic and speak up.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, Victoria.
And attributes, how it works, like the main focus of the attributes.
Okay, yeah, attributes. So attributes, we've not started really using them. I just want to like make call our attention to it. Let's say for instance now, okay, we have a form, yeah, and this form now we have this first one, the first name, this second one, last name, the third one, we have address, the fourth one, we have card number, and so on. But now the person now, let's assume the person decide to like put his first name and skip second name, yeah, and put address, decide to put his card number, put age, yeah, click this and wants to submit the form. So now let's assume once the person submit the form, we want to verify the owner of this card. Yeah, it might be that the card is for my brother and we are bearing the same surname. Yeah, okay, let's say Malik Idris and my own is Malik Mukhtar. So I want to like trick the company not to put my last name so that they won't know that this card is not my own. I just want to put our surname first and just, okay, click submit. They will process the payment and the money will be deducted from his account. No, but you as a smart developer, yeah, you want to like verify this card. Okay, the name on this card, what's the name on this card? Is the name corresponding with the name the person submitted? Yeah, so now you can like say, okay, I want to use the attribute of this first div. This we give it a name. We give it a name. We give it an ID. So you can use any attribute. You give it a class. So we can like target this first div or this input, anyone. I'm just using the div as an example. Target this div by name and say that, okay, if I input my, what's it called, my name here, and I refuse to input my name on the second div, don't submit the form. Make the button disable. There is a disable attribute on buttons also. Disabled. And can we see the difference between this reset form and submit form? We can see that the reset form button looks a little bit brighter, and the submit form is somehow light, like as it's disabled. I can't click it. Like now I'm pressing the click button. Yeah, you can see, but it's not doing anything. I click this now, it takes me back to the top page. It means that I've disabled this submit button. So I can say that, okay, if I can like target this input now, let's say I give it an ID, something ID, let's say ladies, and I say, okay, let me look for these inputs with the ID ladies. If the value is empty, that the person refused to put anything, make this button disable. There is a way we can write the logic. Yeah, okay, I get the value from this and I say that, okay, the value there is empty, disable this button. So the person will not be able to submit that button. So the way we are able to like get the input is the ID we gave the input, the name we gave the input, the class we gave the input. So you can decide to use anyone So when you use class, the class, like if I should give this ID name Malik, we want those names to be unique. I can also give um this this input Malik also. But anytime I target this name Malik, that I call this name Malik, it's going to like fetch the two elements for me. So when you are using name, you want that name to be unique, or the ID. But class name, most times class name are being used for styling. That's, you can like share class name also. But the ID and the name, most time you want them to be unique, except you want a situation by you want to like target the two elements. In this case now, since you want to like verify both names, you can give them the same name, and like, okay, fetch this input, fetch this input. Are the values in those inputs empty? Did I fill in something or not? If I didn't fill in anything, make this button disable. Yeah. So basically, what attribute does is that it gives name to the element, or identity to the element. Like, okay, this is the particular element I want to. Because if I should inspect, let's say this now, you can see the div as a name. You can see the text here, the input here as a name. But if I should check the next one, no name. So if I want to like target this now and I didn't give it a name, I might probably want to use the general element tag. If I should say inputs now, I will be calling the old inputs on the page, but then I don't want to call the old input on the page. I want to call this particular input. So I have to like give it a name so that I'll be able to target it. Victoria, I hope you're able to get that explanation.
Not really, but thank you for that.
No, just tell me where you're confused. Is it okay now? When I called Victoria, why is it that you are the one that answered me?
So that's my name.
Exactly. So now if I want to call this div now, I need to give it a name. If I should say Web2 track ladies, I'm not being specific. I'm calling everybody. Yeah. If I say, okay, everybody, can you hear me? I'm referring to everybody. But if I say Victoria, can you hear me? I'm referring to Victoria. Yeah. So if I want to call a div now, I say, okay, document dot fetch elements by div. Yeah, I'm calling the old div on the what's it called, on the page. But if I say document dot get elements by name, and I give name of Malik or Victoria, it's going to fetch me that particular one. That's because I gave it an attribute, and the attribute is name. So you can have an attribute to be ID, to be class. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So attribute is just like what you're being called. Okay, my name is so so so. My name is so so so. My ID is this. Yeah. There are some organizations that they don't really know you by name, because you might have, okay. Another thing is, if I have a name, we might have like 2 Victoria in our class, or 3 Victoria, but the ID is going to be unique. Also, take for instance now our ID when we are in school, maybe under level, you hardly see, you not even see a student is required to have one single student ID. Yeah, like my school, then it was UO8ME 1063. Yeah, you will not see another person that is 1063. So once a lecturer says 1063, you will not see 2 people that will stand up. If you see 2 people that stand up for the same ID, that means they have to probably go to the exam officer or the school authority that, okay, this is not supposed to be. But you, in a class, you might see 3 people very Victoria. Yeah. So, but the ID is going to be unique. So with that unique ID now, you can get to like be able to call each element that you want to use. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Thank you so much.
Okay. So any other question, please?
I was going to ask anytime we want to create space between the codes, we are always going to use the break tag, or is there any other way
Okay.
around it?
Yes, there is a way around it. The reason why I'm using break is because we are dealing with HTML only. Yeah, these are things that CSS will do for us. Yeah, so basically HTML is hypertext markup language. So we just want to like see text on the um on the page. You want to like see buttons and everything inputs. Yeah, so CSS is cascading style sheet. Is the one that handle the styling. So what you are talking about is the styling. You want a space. Okay, you and I are standing together, but I don't want your clothes to touch my clothes. You can like shift a bit. So there's what we call margin or padding. Okay, yeah, you can even see it here. Okay, so this now you can see where, can you all see my mouse?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay, so you can see the word margin here, border, padding. So these are the things, these are the word, these are the terminologies you are going to be hearing when you start CSS, hopefully next week. Yeah, so these are what you are going to be using. So if I target, let's assume I target this this is a div, right? Yes, so now this div, now I'm not supposed to be doing this, but just for examples, say a margin, let's say 20 pixel. Now click enter. Can you see the difference between the last name address and the first name and last name? You can see that we now have more space. Yeah, so I can just target this HR also and say, okay, this HR, I want to give it a margin also, margin of 20 pixel. And see, we now have more space again. So now these are the things that the CSS is going to do for you. So basically what the HTML does is that just for you to like see text, see buttons, see things that we have on a web page, but it's the CSS now that will beautify it, that will say, okay, I want it to be like this. I want to rearrange it. I want to give it a background color. Let me target this one again. Let's say we have a background color to be red. You can see we now have a background color of red on this thing. So you use the CSS to beautify it. Okay, go right, go left, shift up, go all the way down. So because this first name is here, I can decide to like, okay, I don't want this first name to be here. On my code base is going to be the first, but with CSS, I can decide that, okay, I want to move it to the last. Yeah. So this is what CSS is going to like come in to do. So if you want to like use line break, all the time it's not advisable. Like your code is going to look messed up because you want to like give a space. But then there are sometimes that you want to like use break to do it if you don't want to like start writing CSS. But then when you get to CSS next week, hopefully, yeah, you will see a lot about how to like style all these forms we've created. So that's that. Any other question? Yeah, just unmute your mic and speak. You still have an hour. Questions? If you don't want to talk, you can just put it on the
Yeah,
chat.
sorry, I want to find out more about semantic HTML. I did not quite get that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Elizabeth put password. Okay, yeah, I can just, we can put password also. Let me see, where's our form? This, okay. Last name, okay. Let's duplicate this and put, let's say, password. So if I put type password now, even if I should type something in, you will not be able to see because the HTML knows that password are not meant to be seen. So you see, I'm actually typing alphabets now plus number and everything. But the HTML know that, okay, it's type password and password are not meant to be seen. Yeah. So there's a way also that we can like, okay, I want to see what I'm typing if it is correct. Yeah. So there's a way we can also do it in JavaScript. So when we get there, we'll also practice that. So Elizabeth, thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, somebody asked semantic. So okay, what semantic HTML does? Semantic HTML is just writing the same plain element we'll be talking about since yesterday. But yeah, the main thing it does is just to give the browser more information and the developer that is working on the same project with you more information. Take for instance now, I have a page and I started, let's assume I am the type that used to like code from ground, because there are people like that. When you give them a page to code like this, they will not start from the top. They will just go all the way down and start coding. Yeah, so they do this footer first, then they put maybe like another nav here that people can navigate. They put an image here, put a list here to list all this, then put maybe a div here, something like that. So let's assume I'm that kind of person and I'm coding, and when I started, I put a footer here. Yeah, I put a footer here. But by convention, we all know that footer is supposed to be at the bottom. Yeah. So as I was coding, maybe like somebody just distracted me. Yeah. So I just saved and I left my system. Then when I came back, I didn't bother checking this. I just continue from here. You understand? So after like maybe I've finished working and I've shared the code with my colleague. So when he comes in, he's just like, okay, footer, why did this guy put footer here? So when he sees this keyword footer, you know that, okay, this tag is not supposed to be here. This tag should be at the bottom. Yeah. The main reason why you got to know that this tag should be at the bottom is because there's this keyword footer there. Yeah. If it should be, let's assume you put just normal text here. Let's say a p tag and just put something inside. Me, I will assume, okay, that's how you want to see it. It's a paragraph. Paragraph can be anywhere. Yeah. But the fact that you use footer, and I know that footer are not meant to be at the top of the page. Footer are meant to be at the bottom of the page. I can easily move it down to the bottom. That's because you use the keyword footer. Yeah, so that's what semantic HTML does. They just give you more information. They tell the browser that, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is what I'm trying to achieve. And the developer also that you are working together will know that, okay, this is what this person is trying to achieve. This is what this person is trying to achieve. Probably he got distracted, that's why. So now you can just put a nav bar. So if you put a nav bar here now, yeah, I know that, okay, this is a nav bar. This is what this person is trying to like achieve. I showed example of CNN the other time. You can see this is like aside. Yeah, so it tells the page, the browser that, okay, this is what this page is trying to achieve. This is what the developer is trying to achieve. Yeah, so if I should just use a div, like if I'm giving this page to like design this page now, I can say that I don't want to use aside. Div with my CSS will give me this, and you will not even know that I didn't use aside. Yeah, but then the person that will now take over the project from me might not know that, okay, this is what I was trying to achieve. He will just expect that, okay, these are normal div, and I just styled it. But probably the product manager or the UI UX guys, the main purpose of them creating this is for us to have a site where we have this EU proposes $140 billion. So it's supposed to be aside. But if I use the keyword aside in my code base, the next person that is coming in will know that, okay, yeah, this is what he's trying to achieve. Yeah, I can just use the word div and I will still achieve the same thing. But the person that is coming in now will not know that, okay, what I want to achieve is to get aside this. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the
Yes,
aside
I
keyword,
do.
yes.
So
The
that means
semantic,
sorry, that means with semantic HTML, you don't need to add comments, like because it's
yes,
self-explanatory.
exactly. It's going to be self-explanatory. Exactly. Yes. So because once I just entered now, say, okay, aside, yeah, because hey, like this div now, I might probably want to add, okay, yeah, this is aside tab, then I comment it out. So instead of me writing this long story and telling the person, once the person sees this aside, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I know what it's trying to achieve. Exactly. So you have less comments when you do semantic HTML, because it's going to like explain a lot of things to the developer and the page also. Yeah. Any other question? Let me check. Okay, yeah, if you don't want to like speak, you can type it on the chat.
Good evening, Malik. I have a question.
Yeah, good evening. Okay.
Okay, so the image of the semantic element you showed us earlier that segmented
Yes.
everything, the nav bar, the footer, the aside and all.
Yes.
So if you are building a web page, does that mean
Yes.
if we put those tags in our code, does that mean that every of the codes they were writing automatically take the space according to the way it was shown? I don't know if you
No, not
understand my
really.
question.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. Not really. You have to style them. That's why CSS comes in.
Yes,
Yeah.
do they
You
take
are saying
this form? Like if you
no,
have
no,
you write something and you put a side section and all, do
no,
everything just take their spaces like that?
no. It doesn't. It doesn't. Take for instance now. I have an example here. Where is it? I have one aside I pasted in the other time. Control F. Yeah, I pasted. Okay, let me look for. Okay, this is a section. Let me copy this. I just want to show you that it's not going to be. Let's look for article. This is an article. Okay, this is an article also with a header. Let me copy it. Let me paste it. So by default, assuming it's going to work like that, it should help us and arrange it. But yeah, you see what it does? It just give us basically heading here with paragraph, another heading with another paragraph here. It's not going to do this for you. It's not. It's the you can only achieve this with the help of the CSS. But what the page is going to like know is that okay, you are trying to like achieve a section, an article aside, and if another developer should come in and see this and say, okay, this is an article, this is a section, this is an article, this is a section. Okay, this is what this person is trying to achieve. But then it's not going to help you with the styling. The styling you have to do it yourself. Take for instance now this place, this example they gave, you can see that they did the styling inline. So I'm not going to talk about that. That's for next week. So the styling you have to like still do it yourself. It's not going to do the segmenting for you. No, you have to do the styling yourself. The only thing is going to help you in doing is two things. Yeah, it's going to give more information to the developers. Once the developer comes in and sees your code, they'll say, okay, this is what this person is trying to achieve. And it's going to give more information to the browser. Okay, this is a section, this is an article, this is a side, this is footer. Yeah, but the styling is not going to help you to do the styling, because if by default it's going to help us, if I should put a footer tag at the top, yeah, the code knows that it's a footer tag. It should just help me and move it down to the bottom. But no, it won't. It will still be at the top. You can see it here.
Okay.
It will still be at the top. So now it's you that will use the styling to just like arrange it the way you want it. But the browser knows that okay, this is a footer. The browser knows that this is a section, and the browser knows that this is an article. Yeah, but you have to like do your own styling also.
All right,
Hope you
thank
got
you very
that.
much.
Right. Yeah. So
Yes, but
next, yeah, go on, go on.
okay, so I am just curious, and
Okay.
because of that, especially because of the nav bar in the semantic arrangement,
Yes.
I know that most times when we go to sites, we see this navigation bar, and you see a couple of
Yes.
things by the right or
Yes.
left about
Yes.
and all those things. So, how are those things then arranged in an horizontal line?
Okay. Okay.
Because most of the things that have been written has been written
In
vertically.
vertically, exactly. Good question. Yeah, that's a very good question. So that's the work of CSS. So but let's practice one so that you see it. Okay. Um that's what Isaac is going to talk about next week. So we have a nav, or you can use a nav bar. I think it's basically the same. So let's have lists. let's say home page, about, contact, documentation, login, logout. Okay. About us, contact us, documentation, sign in. I can try to make this a button and say sign out. So if I should save this now, where's our page? This. Okay, yeah. You can see that they are all vertical here. So we want them to be horizontal. So now we have I actually don't want to discuss this because it's for next week. So there are three ways. So let me just give you introduction. So introduction to CSS. CSS basically is cascading style sheets. Isaac is going to like talk more about that. So what CSS does is to help you and style your elements. How do you want it? Do you want the text to be red? Do you want it to be green? Do you want it to be white, black, anything? Yeah. So we have three types of way that you can like style your HTML. Firstly, you can import a file. Yeah, that's you create a separate file. I think we did that yesterday. Something like this, CSS. You put in your CSS here. You're writing your CSS here. Then you import that into this file. So now on the header, you import it. It's going to read from that file and apply that CSS. The second way is in file, inline. No, not inline. In the file, yeah, here like this, I can just put a what's it called, a CSS code here, and it's going to work. And the last one is inline. That's I can write CSS here, and it's going to work. Yeah, so those are the three ways that we can use CSS on our page. But Isaac is going to talk more about that. So now we want this to be vertical, yeah. So we can use display flex. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
You see, I've not even gone far. The thing has turned horizontal. Yeah. So there are a lot of things we can do. Display flex. We have justify content. I can just do that to be space evenly. Let's see how that looks. You see, so these are the kind of things that you see on a page. I want to remove the bullets. What's the code again? I've forgotten. Is it design? No. Let me quickly Google that. How to remove? I've forgotten the CSS. Bullet signs from list. You see, Google just brought out the listing. Okay, list type none. Yeah, I think I've remembered. So that's one thing about programming. So once you just Google it and you see this thing, list type, list type. This list style, then none, right? So that should remove. So yeah, so you can see, right? So these are the kind of things that you see on a page. Yeah, so you can make this button, you can just like style it anyhow you want it. So basically what we've been doing since yesterday is just to write plain text on the page, but we've not started styling. So Jack was going to talk a lot about that next week. So you see. So now if you want to style anything, you can do inline, you can export, and you can write at the top here. So whenever you want to like bring in CSS into an HTML file, it's advisable to put it at the top, because the code is going to like run from the top to the bottom. So if it loads the CSS first, yeah, it's going to like have it. Then by the time it loads the HTML, it's going to apply the CSS. Have you ever visit a website whereby your network is not that good? You can see the HTML, but the CSS is not applied, so it's looking scattered. Yeah, you just see arranged text to just go from top to bottom. That's probably because they kept the CSS at the bottom. Yeah, so if you put the CSS at the top, even if the person's network is not that good, before the page loads, it's going to load the CSS first before loading the page. So by the time you have like a good network a bit, yeah, it's going to just apply the CSS to the HTML tag. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So don't worry about this. I'm very, very sure Isaac will talk a lot about it. Yeah. So by this time next week, we should be designing a website for NASA. Yeah. So next question, please. Are we okay with the class?
Good evening.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
good, yeah, good evening, Rachel.
Okay, I wanted to ask, is there a language that does it all? Hypertext, texting and styling. Do we have to always use a combination of two or more?
I don't understand your question.
Okay, so sometimes when you want to talk about styling, you say we'll have to use CSS. So I'm wondering if CSS can
Yeah.
do the job of HTML and also do the styling.
And
Or if
okay.
there's
Let me see. No. It doesn't. Basically, HTML is for elements. What you are seeing. Like if you look at my screen now, you can see that I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, you can see Abimbola Ajayi. This is a text. Yeah. You can see images here. These are HTML, these are text. Yeah. But then if I should remove the CSS in it now, it will look scattered, like the way our page is now. So what CSS does is just to give it that styling, that stylish, fancy look. That's what CSS does. So there are two different things. But if you should say, okay, can we bring in JavaScript? Although you've not started JavaScript, there's a way you can write JavaScript in CSS that will do some work that won't like make the CSS heavy. But for now, like what you asked, the answer is no. Let's just say no for now. Yeah. So when you advance a little bit, you understand how you can like bring in other languages into CSS and HTML also that can do other things. But for now, the answer is no. HTML is for the elements and CSS is for the styling. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
Okay. When you did your form,
When using
your form,
okay.
the name and the input,
Yes.
they were on the same line. Oh, when
Yes.
I did mine wasn't on the same line. I don't know if I got something wrong. Like my name
Okay.
was on top and the form and the input was down. I don't know if you
Okay.
get
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
So yeah, I did. So you are saying that when you try designing this form, they are together
Exactly.
like this. But yeah, but yours is the input is at the
Down.
bottom of the
Oh,
name.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So probably you're not using label.
Okay.
Use label. If you use label, but then you can decide to style it. Where is the form? But when you get to CSS next week, so use label. So let's
Okay.
assume probably you are using, let me see, maybe you are using span or something. but it's still the same thing, irrespective of what you use. We can always use first name. We can always style it. But the most important thing is let the thing just show. I don't know why yours is breaking. It's not breaking yet.
Because I'm using label and it's still breaking. I don't know.
You are using what? Code pen?
Label, what you use.
Okay, you're using
That's what I
label.
use. Yes.
Yeah, it should not break. But then don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Yeah, it's not something to be worried about, because the UI UX that will give you a design might want it to be like this, or might want it to be the way yours is. But then that's where CSS comes in. Yeah. Okay, now let's assume mine is like this. Now I want to break it off. Yeah, I can use BR. I use BR so that it breaks it off like this. Or I can probably go to my CSS and just write some codes there, and it's going to break off. So it's fine. It's fine. And again, another question is, which browser are you using?
Chrome. I'm using Chrome.
You're using Google Chrome. Yeah, it should work. But then it's fine. It's fine. It's nothing to be worried about. Okay. Yeah. Next question, please. So it seems if I should say, okay, yeah, we should design this with okay, I think last question now. Let's design CNN with HTML and CSS only. Yeah, I think our workshop is tomorrow. So this is what we are going to design. Since nobody is asking any question, it seems we are fine. We know everything already, right?
On the chat box.
Okay, yeah. Please, why did you put label tag, input tag in separate div? Okay, they are not on separate div. They are inside the same div. They are inside the same div. This is the opening and this is the closing. The reason why I separated them like this is just like to segment them. It's not, I can squish everything together like this and put them together. It's going to work. My styling, the way I will style it later, just determine what I want to achieve. So it's nothing to be worried about. You can see I just decided to like give it separate containers, so it's fine. So if you want yours to be in the same container, you can do it like this, then you break them off. But if you want them different containers, that's why I use div, so it's fine. So Oizali, hope that answered your question. So Naomi said, are we going to get a recording of it? Yes. We are recording the class, so you'll get it. So the reason why you've not gotten that of yesterday is I think that of yesterday was 2 hours plus. It's probably might be a little bit heavy. So uploading it on YouTube will kind of like take time. Yeah. So but hopefully before today's ends, it should be available. Yeah. I will talk to Chisholm about it. So we'll make it available. And for today's class also, the recording will be available also. Yeah. So any other question? So let's, in absence of none, let's just go to a random website. Let's start inspecting their elements. Okay. Yeah, question, are we okay with the class so far?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so and we understand everything.
Yes.
Okay, so if we don't have any questions, probably we should just end the class so that the video won't be too heavy. Yeah, so that the upload can be fast for those that are not here. So yeah, Afsat, you want to say something?
Can we quickly inspect the websites like you said, then we can wrap it up?
Oh, okay. So but if you have any other question that you want to ask, you can always drop it on the Slack. And tag me. I will try as much as possible to answer you. So let's even inspect CNN. Is okay. Stop loading. Okay, yeah. Let's inspect this image. Okay. So you see there, this is the HTML, this is the whole page, then this is their header. Yeah. So it has a title CNN. So they might have written CNN. So another way to bring in CSS into your this thing is link. So Isaac is going to discuss that. Then Meta also is just to like tell the kind of browser you are using. You don't really much need that. So we have link. We are still in the edge tag. Yeah, this. So I open it. So we have scripts. These scripts, anywhere you see scripts, I'll talk more about that when we get to JavaScript. That's the way you import JavaScript into your HTML. So we have scripts, we have meta, we have link. So whenever you see link, they are bringing it a CSS or maybe a file. Yeah. So and it's not necessarily that the file is going to be on your system. It might be on a server somewhere. I can use let's say Google font. Google font. Maybe Google have this fancy font that I want to use, and I don't want to start stressing myself like this Nabla or this Sato Sans Japanese. I want to use it on my website, or this Santo France build. I don't have to start stressing myself. They already have the what's it called, the CSS written for me somewhere on their server. Yeah. So all I have to do is just to get the what's it called? Not download, you know, to the there's a way you just, it's been a while I use this. There's a way you can just copy the code. Where are you guys keeping this? I don't want to download, I just want to view. No. It's been a while I use this, that's what. But there's a link they will give you. So that link now is hosted somewhere on their server. So once your page loads, it's just going to fetch the font for you and display it on your what's it called, on your browser for you. So you don't have to like stress yourself. So that's the kind of things they are doing here. Like this DNS prefetch now, this page now, this CNN page now is fetching something from google.com. It's fetching something from Amazon. So a lot of things like that. Yeah. And they're also bundled. So a lot of so you can see the title here. Yeah. So I can change this title now to Web3 Ladies. It's not our website. We should not. So can we see it? We've changed CNN website to our own. But if I should refresh now, it's going to like take the CNN back because it's not our server that is fetching the page from. Yeah. So, but for now, we are kind of like edited the title from our browser. You can see that the title has changed. I'll change it back to CNN. It's going to change back to CNN. You can see. Control Z, Web3. So that's it. What I said earlier, if you want to do styling, so they did an inline styling. So this one now, immediately I load the page, this style is going to like load up first, even before I start seeing my text, so that it won't look scattered and squashed somehow. So this kind of thing, you can just open any website, see the way it's been done, things that they are doing there, then scripts. Yeah, so they have a lot of scripts. So so the body now, so this is the main body, display none. So this display none now, you can't see it, but there's something there. So it's hidden document. Can we see what happened? It was actually hidden, but when I remove that styling, we have a space here. So probably maybe they want to use this space for adverts now. Yeah, they just created a div. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So probably they created this div now for adverts, or maybe when Corona was still on, you see that most websites, when you enter their website, you just see keep safe, use your nose masks, sanitize your hands, something like that. So they have a div there. All they have to do is just what I said earlier. There's an ID here. You can see the ID, Lightning JS, Usabella Live. Yeah. Okay. So now from this ID now, I want to sense that if there's a live program that they want to display there. Yeah. So now they'll just target this now. They'll just do document.get elements by ID, Lightning JS, Usabella Live, and just that person that is doing maybe live program somewhere, they will just input the video there. So when you enter their website now, you just be seeing the live this thing there. So probably the person is not live now. It's hidden. It's on the page, but you can't see it because it's hidden. So these are the things that the JavaScript can do for you, the styling can do for you, and the HTML. Yeah, this is another thing. So I'm trying to okay, this is where the nav is. So you can see here now, they use a div. This is the nav, right? We can see the picture, we can see the light blue. This is the nav, but it's a div. See the ID, see the class. So the class now, they now name it nav. So now, if they want to do what the example I did the other time that made everything to be horizontal, all they need to just do is just target this class or this ID and give it a what's it called, a CSS. Yeah. Why are you hanging? You can see another nav here. So once you continue opening this, they are all nested. Yeah, you will get to, you can see. Yeah. So we have a button. So that first one, it is called hamburger button. Yeah. The reason why you are seeing that is if I should increase the size of this screen now, it's going to disappear. You can see we now have more content there. Okay, the hamburger is fixed. Yeah. You see, as I'm reducing the screen, the text here went up. So these are things that has to do with media queries, CXS. Isiah will talk about that. So you just want to make your page, yeah, very friendly and very, very usable. So now if I log on to this website now with a phone, I will have a very good user experience. Yeah, this is the button. So this is where the CNN logo is. So this is the anchor tag I said earlier. So href is supposed to take them to a website, yeah. So but now they put a slash there, so it's not going to take them anywhere because you are still on the home page. You don't want to go anywhere. So inside this tag, they have an XVG. That's the image now. So now you can use XVG are basically images that are compressed, because you don't want to, have you ever visit a website where you have data and your network is good and it's taking time to load up? Yeah, it's because the element on that page is too heavy. Yeah, why will you have a page that the images are 2 MB, 3 MB? That's too heavy. You want images that are kilobytes, 5 kilobytes, 6 kilobytes, 10 kilobytes. So XVG does that. It's more of a compressed image. Yeah. So most times you want to use images, but then JPEG and PNG you can also use that. But it depends on the person that is giving you the file. So let the person just as much as possible to compress it. 5 kilobytes, 10 kilobytes, then it's going to pretty much load faster. And there's another thing that is called caching. Yeah. So when I load up a page, all the images that I load the first time will be saved on my system. Yeah, so if I reload the page again, there's no need of refetching. There's no need of refetching those images. It's already on my system already. So these are the things that have been saved on my system by websites. So that's why when you visit some website, they will ask you to accept cookies. Yeah. So that by the time you come back to that website, you don't have to like reload everything again, so that you have a very good user experience. So these are websites that have saved something on my local storage, session storage, my cookies, you see. So if I should revisit all these websites again, it's going to pretty much load very fast. So that is that. So we have another div here, which is this. So if you inspect it, you see a lot of things, class container, blah, blah, blah. So basically, that's what makes, no matter how fanciful a website is, if you want to like see what the heck, okay, yeah, you can see the article tag I spoke about the other time. You can see it, right? Yeah. So now basically it's to just tell you that, okay, this is an article. So I know that this now is an article. Yeah, this now is an article. So it's going to tell the browser that, okay, this is an article, this is an article. And the person now from the code base now know that, okay, this is article. So I don't want to like go and move, let's say, this section inside the article. And it's okay, if once I see this article tag and say, okay, this is going to be a single article. Yeah, so you can just section, you can just like inspect any websites and just see how it looks like. Yeah, so I think that's going to be all for today. So tomorrow is workshop. I have a question. I have seen people copy image from website using inspect. How do one do that? Yeah, so we did that yesterday. So let's assume I want to, where is that image? Let's assume I want to copy this image now. You inspect, see, you can copy image, open image in new tab, save image, you can save it on your system, copy image address. So if I copy this image address now, I paste it in my browser, it should show me that image. Yeah, so this is how you can copy the image. So now if I want to display this image on my screen now, on my code base, I'll just go to my code. Yeah, before the form, create an image tag. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. Then for image tag, is going to have a source. So where is our source? Then the link that we copied. So if I should go to our page now, you can see the same image here. But one bad thing about you copying image link from websites is that if the server where this image is located is down, your image will not work. So you want to like, anytime you want to use an image on the site, you want to make sure that the image is coming from your own project. You bundle it together to your project. But if you are sure that, okay, the server will not be down, because we at least say that Google server goes down. Yeah, it does. Yeah, because it's a server. All servers can go down. It does. But most time you can be rest assured that, okay, more than 95% of the time, Google will always be up. Yeah. So if you have an image that is stored on, let's say, Google Cloud or iCloud, or you can be rest assured that, okay, their server will always be up. Yeah. So that's how to do that. Joy, I hope that answered the question. Okay, yeah, I think we need to wrap it off for today. So tomorrow is workshop. I see everybody tomorrow. And for those that are not here, I hope they will get to like be able to watch the recorded video. So thank you, everyone. I will send a link on the Slack channel. Please let me hear the review. Anything we need to do to make the classes better. If the time is too short, if the time is too long, just your review. Yeah, so that we'll, and try as much as I will also drop the index.html file on the Slack channel also, so that we can like practice. Please try and practice. It's not a day job. I know when I started also it can be overwhelming, but then with practice, before you know it's become part of you. Yeah. When I started also, there's I don't know if you guys know Cocolet. Yeah, she's one of coders that started in Abuja here. Yeah, I think she has gone very, very far. I think I saw one of her picture in when she went to Dubai also. Yeah. One of the things she said when I started coding was, she said the difference between the seniors and the juniors, yeah, developer, is that the seniors, they know where to go, they know what to do. Yeah, like when I give you a code base now, what makes you a junior is that you don't know what to do. Yeah, but what makes that other person a senior is because of the experience. The person knows what to do. Yeah, if you give me a code base now and I'm like, okay, where is the first thing I said, okay, there's an error in this code base. I will first of all run the code. Yeah, the system will not lie to you. The system want to point you to where the error is. Yeah, so by the time you now trace that error to that place, you now discover that, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. So that's basically one of the difference between the senior and the junior. So with time, when you practice, yeah, you see that all these things will just like naturally it will just flow. Yeah, so let us practice as much as possible. If you have any question, don't keep it to yourself. Just ask on the Slack. Yeah, and if you feel one of the reasons why I said people should not send me DM is that I want people to like learn also. But if you feel you are too shy for that, you can just send the DM. But then it will be good when you send it on the group so that everybody can also learn. But if you feel that, okay, you are too shy for that, just send the DM. Then I will reply to that, and I can also probably put the solution on the main group also. All right, everyone, have a lovely night's rest. I see you guys tomorrow for the workshop. So by tomorrow, everybody, before I start coding, I will select like 10 people randomly. They will share their screen. We'll just get our hands dirty tomorrow, do a lot of coding tomorrow. Even though it's not fine, like I just want to see, okay, it's running. There's one of my colleagues will say, let's celebrate our little wins. Yeah. When you do little, it might be small to you, but it's a milestone. Yeah. At least yesterday, then for yesterday, you don't know what elements are, but today now you know elements. So if you are in a group of people and I say HTML tags, yeah, you won't be lost. You'll be like, oh, what are these people saying? Yeah. So we'll get there by hopefully after this program, you start developing apps and all. So yeah, good night, everyone. See you guys tomorrow. And
Thank you very
that
much. Good
have any
night.
yeah. All right, bye-bye. Have a lovely night rest. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Bye.